Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
Our guest, Ovraiti. Mr. Ovraiti is one of Nigeria's best-known watercolorists. He was born in 1961 in Zaria, if I'm correct. Zaria is in Kaduna State.
Yeah, that's true.
He read fine arts at Auchi Polytechnic, and thereafter he proceeded to the University of Benin for his master's degree. I'll be telling you more about Mr. Ovraiti in the course of this interview. But once again, I want to welcome all those who have joined us. Thank you. So, Mr. Ovraiti, I'm going to fire the first question. Are you ready?
I'm very ready. I'm very ready.
I like that. All right. I'd like to start by asking you what got you interested in art. I mean, you could have gone for medicine, you could have gone for law, you could have gone for engineering, but you chose to embrace art. What prompted that?
They've asked me this question a million times, and I've answered it a million times. I can say that I had no choice. Being an artist was for me a no-choice affair. When I did my school set examination, in those days, they used to grade us in divisions. I made a division 1, aggregate 12. They take your best 6 subjects. I made aggregate 12. The distinction in mathematics, distinction in geography, distinction, I had the distinctions like that, But
I like that.
I had made up my mind, not just making up my mind. I knew when I was 12 that I'm an artist. So I had no choice than to continue to read art, despite the fact that it was a no-go area in my family at that time. It was like, art, drawing. What has gone into your brain? But it came as a conviction for me. I was convinced that my calling was the visual arts, and I also do music, but visual art was my calling. Yeah.
All right. I would like to find out from you, as at the time you delved into art, what gave you the confidence that you were going to eke out a living from that line of business?
I must tell you, when I became an artist, I didn't think that it was going to be something that will be a profession that I will follow and I will eke out a living. Eking out a living was not part of it. I was like a messenger, and I was like the priest, and I was controlled by the force, the spirit that says that create, and I created without really looking at whether it was going to be I wasn't thinking of profession. I was 11 years old, I was 11 years old. I was still in class 2 in the secondary school. I had already known that I'm an artist because I loved what I did at that time as an artist, and I knew that I was somewhat like one of the great ones. When I say the great ones, I had the conviction that I was okay, I was better, I was a mile apart from my contemporaries, my mates and things like that. So I did art because I loved it. It was later that I got to know that if you do what you love and you love what you do, money follows you.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, artists have come to become members of that elitist group. They are rich, they are respected, they are influential. How exactly did that happen?
Well, I will tell you that when you use the word artists, it is like you are describing what the person does as a person.
Okay.
You know, we are not really artists. We are human beings. First of all, we are human beings.
All
Then,
right.
as human beings, we do the business of art.
I
And in
love
the business of art,
that.
what we do is creating art. So, I create art in the business of art. So, I'm a creator of treasure. I create treasure. Now, if you create treasure, somebody who creates treasure, something that people will have to work for and save to buy, you are the creator. It means that you have grown beyond treasure. You are the creator of treasure. So, artists have become famous. Artists have become fortunate. When I say famous, we have to separate fame and fortune. You can be famous and broke.
I know.
Yes, you might not be known, but you are fortunate. So fortune follows you
Yeah.
because you are creating something that is useful to your society. You are coming out with a product that solves a problem and renders service to your immediate society. Art has become a commodity that solves problem. And if anything solves problem, um, the dividends will be that your society will bless you with substance. The substance can come by respect, the substance can come by money, it can come by position. So artists have grown to that level, and the society has been able to catch up with the real meaning and use of the creative force brought about by the artists as a contribution to the community.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, I'll need you to tell us the first artwork ever that you sold. How much was it sold for? And who bought it from you?
I've been doing art for all my life, and I will tell you that I don't have a record of the first artwork that I sold, but I know that I started selling art from school to my mates who had
Okay.
big boyfriends, who had uh, rich parents, who had big uncles who wanted to give them something as gift. So they needed to buy something for either their parents or their uncles, aunties, or their friends, And sometimes what they needed to do was just to paint their portraits. And who will they come and meet? They will come and meet their mates who is close to them, somebody that they can pay anything to. They can pay
Just to
just a
do it.
little too. So the first artworks I sold to my people, my friends,
Okay.
my classmates, my schoolmates. Then, if you ask me about the first exhibition that I did and how
Okay.
much was I selling the works at that time, I will tell you.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, the first recorded exhibition was in 1985
Okay.
in Bauchi State. Then they had just
Don't
opened
you? Okay.
they had just opened the Awala Hotel, and we needed to do an art exhibition there to just to entertain the guests, you know.
Okay.
So at that exhibition, I was able to sell some works. Works were not expensive at that time, I must tell you. If you had
Okay.
uh, if you had 30 naira, you could buy an art piece at that time. 70
Wow.
naira, 90 naira, you could buy an art piece. But of course, my salary at that time was 350 naira. So you can imagine
Wow.
what it means to buy an artwork for 30 naira.
All
So
right.
if we
All
we
right.
sold 10, we had made our salary
Yeah.
and we were happy.
That
Yes,
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 yes.
yes.
Now, about expensive artworks, which has been the most expensive artwork that you sold? Can you remember?
Yeah, I must tell you, Azu, we 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 don't like to discuss, talk about it by ourselves. If you research
All
it and
right.
you say it, fine. But I know that I have had exhibitions in the UK, and more than around 2003, and works were sold for £5,000, which was quite okay at that time for us, and
Yeah.
we have our auction prices. They are not something that we have to say. They are online. We can find them, but I don't think it is something that I would like to say. Uh, it's,
All
it is
right.
not.
It's
It's
all
not
right.
something I would like to say at this point in time in this interview. Maybe as the
It's
interview
all
goes
right.
on, we'll talk about it.
All right. Now, the inspiration to paint, to come up with the good work, beautiful works that they are doing. How do you get that?
Oh, inspiration to work. If
Yes.
we really look at the word inspiration, it really means in spirit. You know, when you are in spirit, when you are in spirit, it's not something that you can control. It's not something you can go and get. It's not something that we
Mm,
go out to get. It's
mm,
something that we walk into. If you are constantly working as an artist, if you are constantly working and you create the activity, that is, you are acting on ideas, where you create activity that follows the idea, you'll find out that that word inspiration will just be, you'll be one with inspiration. You'll be one with being in spirit. So it doesn't have to
mm.
come. People tell me, some artists tell me that they have to drink before they get inspired, or they have to smoke something. I say, man, then there must be something wrong with you. That being inspired does not come from outside of you. It comes from inside of you, because you are talking about your inner formation, your in what comes out, right? Or you have created something inside
Wow.
based
Mm,
on the information you
mm,
have tapped from outside. Then you don't need anything that they
mm.
call inspiration. You are the spirit,
I like that.
action
Thanks all for
in this
joining us
in
on this episode. Thanks all.
ideas, on the ideas. So my inspiration comes from my knowledge.
To have a taste of success in your line of
Yeah,
business, what must one do?
principles, and there are elements, and if you are able to decipher the difference between the principles and the elements, and you put them in order, you'll be successful in art. Now, for you to be a successful artist, for you to be a very successful artist or a successful artist, you must first of all know your seed. You must know your seed. Many artists have not found their seed. They have not found a path for themselves. So they want to be like a big artist. It's just like you are rice and you want to be like beans. No matter how long they put it together in the same bag, it's not going to work. So every successful artist must find out first of all his seed. Your seed. Your seed means, what are you bringing to the table? What are you creating? Why are you creating it? How are you doing it? All those has to do with the principle. And the principle of success runs across, whether you're an artist, you're a business person, or so. But for the artist, you must know that you are paid for your difference. You are recognized for your difference. You are not recognized for being the best. There's no best, because we are different. So you are selected for your difference. So it is your ability to know who you are. Man, know thyself. If you know who you are and you know what you need, what you want to project to the world, and how you are going to affect your immediate environment. You cannot be successful in India if you are not successful in your immediate environment. First of all, you must be successful in your immediate environment. Then you can now export. Your success can now spread. People can now come in and see that this person is very good. For you to be able to do that, you must learn. You must learn to grow yourself. You must learn to tend yourself. You must learn to manage yourself. You must learn to know yourself. Many people don't know all those things. They think that if you know how to draw or you know how to paint, then you are a success. No, talent is not enough. So there are requirements. There are requirements. So
yes. Now, so what mistake or what mistakes must every serious artist not make?
The first thing I think I can tell every serious artist is guard your mind. Don't let your mind run amok. Guard your image. Do not destroy your image, because people are sometimes, after some time, people are not buying your artwork. They are buying the person, the creator of the artwork. So if you, because you are successful, then you now make mistake with your image, you now begin to misbehave, or you now begin to misjive. You just begin to talk anyhow. You don't guard your image, and you don't guard your mind, because we are our minds. And if you don't guard your mind, you will believe your mind. You are not your mind really, but if you believe your mind, thinking that you are now a big artist, you are now known, and as such you can just use your mouth anyhow, or you can just dress as you like, anyhow, then you'll be making a big mistake. Then two, don't overrate yourself. Do not overrate yourself. You must be humble. Many people, when they begin to be successful, they now overrate themselves. They forget to realize that the younger ones will take over from the older ones. So instead of learning from the younger ones that are coming and adding to what they have, they condemn. They condemn the younger ones, and as such, they don't have the opportunity to add to themselves. So they don't grow with the next generation, and they fizzle out. So every successful artist must be ready to learn from the young ones, because the old shall take over from the young. And the young shall take over from the old.
The young shall take over from the old.
Yes, and the older shall serve the younger. It's just like typewriter and computer. Computer came, took part of typewriter, the keyboard, then the desktop, and the laptop. The laptop took part of the desktop, then the palm top too, took over part of the laptop. That is how growth comes. So we must not make the mistake of thinking that we are the ultimate. At any point in time, we must realize that we are just a tile in the mosaic, and the color of your tile can change depending on the effect of new elements that are coming. So you pick such new elements. So first of all, guard your mind. Secondly, guard your image. Thirdly, don't think that you have nothing to learn from the younger generation. You do.
Wow. I love that. Now, to stand out as an artist, what must one do?
For you to stand out as an artist, you don't have to do too much. I've touched on that a little bit. Separate yourself. You have to separate yourself for you to stand out. Of course, you know that you have to separate yourself, because if you don't separate yourself, if you are still in the cob, if you are still in the corn cob, you cannot stand out. But if you are in the corn cob and you are a different color, you will stand out. So as an artist, for you to stand out, you will separate yourself. You separate yourself from the good, from those that have even taught you, from your mentors. Are you following? Because if you don't separate yourself
Yes.
from your mentors, you might be working like your mentor. You might be like your
Okay.
mentor. And the minute you are like something, you will not be noticed. So you must separate yourself. Then you must know exactly what you stand for and preach it for you to stand as an artist. But most importantly, you must create something that is an addition. Is an addition. You don't try to be the best, be the first. Don't try to be the best, just be the first. And
I like that.
they always say that as an artist, if you are not good, be different. So standing out it also means your difference. So your difference must be promoted. You must promote your difference. You know, that is what will make you stand out.
Wow. Thank you very much. Mr. Ovraiti, what are the elements of a good artwork?
Yeah, the elements of a good artwork.
Yes.
Before I answer that, I want to say that I am a, I tend to think that no artwork is bad.
Okay.
Yes,
I
some
like
people
that.
listening now may not like that because
Okay.
what is not good for the human being's consumption, can be fed to fishes, and it will be okay. It might not
All
be good
right.
for you to ride a bicycle, but it's enjoyable for the children to ride. You
That's
know,
true.
yes, it might not be good. There's nothing that is really bad. It all has to do with the usefulness. But if you talk about an artwork, if you are being pedagogical, if you are being academic, there are elements of creating art. If you are able to meet
Okay.
such elements, they'll say, if for painting, for example, they say center of interest, focus, color, line, and all those things. All those elements, if you're able to meet it, it becomes a good artwork. But if you are a professional artist, a good artwork for a professional artist is that artwork that comes from ideas. And the idea must not be a general idea. Many people may not have been able to cash in on it. So a good artwork is that artwork that has moved what is a little bit beyond the limits. That is to say, that artwork that has created a new order, you know, and you have to get out of order to create a new order. So a good artwork to me is that artwork that has followed the principle to a limit and has moved out of it to create a new order. So if you're able to create a new order, then people will now begin to follow your order until it becomes obsolete. So a good artwork is that artwork that is not yet obsolete. That is not yet obsolete. Because a great artwork today can be obsolete tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, when we started using GSM phone, we used to use Alcatel 3310. But I don't think you like
That's
to touch it today. It has become
I
obsolete.
like I love that. I like your
Yes.
apology.
So an artwork that is good, an artwork that is good is that artwork that has added to the retinue, has added to the to to what is acceptable, but it has moved beyond the usual, something
Okay.
unusual that has also created or followed the principle, laid down principle, or created a new
Order.
order. Yes, getting out of order.
Beautiful.
Yes,
Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, so what are the attributes of a good artist?
the attributes.
Of a good artist.
Yeah, the attributes of a good artist is goes it goes beyond the final work. It goes beyond the final work.
Okay.
Such attributes are usually general, you know, for visual artists,
Okay.
writers, theater artists, and all those things. It goes from so we're talking about the attributes of a good artist. You know,
Yes.
now the attributes of a good artist goes beyond the final production. It
Okay.
doesn't rest on the final production. You know, um, your ability to use your imagination. Your
Okay.
imagination. We are created in God's image. That is from His imagery. Your ability to create images in your inside. Every good artist must have that imagination, you know. Then your ability to transmute that your imagination from your inside out, that ability to do it, to bring it out, so that whatever you want to speak about, your ability to present it, your presentation, your level of presentation. Great imagination can be scuttled by lack of proper skills of presentation. So you can have artists who know how to talk, but when you look at the final work they have created, it is nothing to write home about. So you must be both imaginative and your skill level must be high. And for your skill level to be high, it doesn't have to do with how much school you have attended, because skill cannot be assumed. You don't assume skill. Say I have a
You
PhD or
acquire
I
it.
have a master's degree or I schooled in ABU or Auchi Polytechnic, so I must be good. No. You know, the attributes of a good artist is that artist who can use his imagination and has been able to train himself. You know, a man who takes time to improve his skill. Say he shall stand before kings and not before men. So skill is very important. And for you to have that skill, you cannot assume it. Say because you are 60 years old, you are in it for a long time. No, that skill will require that you train. Skill you acquire skill. You acquire it by training. You know, and training means repetition. When you repeat something over and over until it becomes part of you. And sometimes some people say practice makes perfect, but that's a lie. Everything is perfect the way it is already. So practice will make everything be permanent at one time. If you practice again, you move to a next level, it becomes permanent. You practice again, you move to the next level, it becomes permanent. So the attributes of a good, great artist or a good artist goes from the thoughts to the deeds and the results. Yeah.
I like that.